Hey everyone, thank you for watching Starmorph. This video is a part 2 to my 10 CLI tools that I use alongside Claude Code. And I have a lot of new tools and resources that I'm really excited to show you today. I also read all of the YouTube comments on the last video, and the most common comment was that I should check out Yazi. So that's going to be the first tool I show and go over today. And then another very frequent comment was asking about exploring and finding these tools. So I've compiled a few resources that I use, and I'm going to go over that as well. And one of them is a CLI tool that I built since the last video that's used for exploring. So some really cool stuff to show you today. Let's go ahead and jump into the first tool, which is Yazi. I made this blog post on the Starmorph blog, and I have a nice reference guide here that's going to help me navigate through and show you some of the features. So you guys were totally right. It's super feature rich, and we can use a lot of Vim keybinds, so I can navigate through my files with J and K. I can also go to the bottom or the top of the options. This is pretty cool. You can jump to specific directories, so I can go straight to the home directory, straight to the config directory, and you can even open, if I go to my desktop here, you can even open files from here. So if I do Shift O, I can reveal this in Finder or configure an editor to open it with. So you can really do a lot from Yazi. I was impressed by how many features are in here. You can also copy the current file to the clipboard. So I could copy that, and then I have it available to put into another terminal window. And then you can also do some pretty advanced sorting. So you can choose how your entire files are organized here. For example, alphabetically or by size, and then reverse that. So now the biggest folders are at the top, and then we could do sorting by time. So there's really a lot of functionality. You can also create tabs, so you can have multiple Yazi sessions open and then switch between them. And then there's even a config that has a plugin system as well. So I think you can actually add git status to this. So I might try to set that up because that sounds pretty cool to be able to have that here. So that is Yazi. Thank you guys for recommending this. And that is the first tool. The second tool I want to mention was also a YouTube suggestion, which was that in the Zoxide tool I showed last time, there's a interactive mode. So instead of doing C desktop, for example, if I do ZI and then type something, it will bring in this nice interactive mode where I can choose between multiple options, which is really useful for this exact case where I have the PixelMuse Studio repo and the CLI repo. And so now I can choose which one of those I want to go into. And you can also just run ZI and then search between your most recent repos. So really nice convenience in Zoxide. That's the second tool I wanted to mention, or feature of a tool. Next, I want to show you a nice tool called TLDR, or Tealdeer, I think is the full name. And what this is, it's a summarized version of man pages. So you can type man and then a command, and you get a very detailed, very long documentation on this command, which is great, super detailed, but sometimes it's overwhelming. So TLDR can give you a quick kind of top 5, top 10 commands that you might want to know with that tool. So this is helpful when you install a new package and you just want to get a quick overview. For example, we can do TLDR Yazi and see a few recommendations of things we can, like starting up the program, things we can do. So that's TLDR. All right, now let's go into the exploration of these tools. First off, I'm actually going to kick up a Claude session here. And I'm going to ask Claude to generate a diagram of the different package manager tools, because there are different systems. For example, there are Rust crates, there are Homebrew packages, there are Linux packages, there are NPM packages. So I'm going to show a cool Claude thing here where we're going to draw a diagram of the different packages. So let's go ahead and do this. Claude, use the Figma MCP to generate a diagram that visualizes the hierarchy of different package managers. For example, Homebrew, crates, Rust crates, NPM packages. please make a visualization that explains the different hierarchy of software packages and what the package managers are for each system. Okay, so I'm going to send that over to Claude, and it's pretty cool. Using the Figma MCP, it's going to draw a diagram. Oh, it doesn't have that configured. Let's go ahead and re-auth. Okay, while that Claude is generating a diagram for us to look at, let's go ahead and look at some of the tools to explore these packages. So the first one I mentioned last time is Taproom. And the way you can use Taproom to find new packages is you're originally looking at the default view here of just all the packages, but we can also sort. So I can sort, for example, by total installs. And this is going to give us an idea of the most popular packages. So this is a good way to just see what's very popular right now, what's being commonly used across the industry. We can see Claude Code, Gemini CLI, FFmpeg. So these are a lot of really fundamental tools. And you can see there's also a tag for new. And maybe as you go down, they're going to get a little more experimental or more niche. So this is one way to explore through Homebrew packages. Now that we've looked through that, we can see that the Figma MCP generated this diagram and even opened it up for us. So this is a quick diagram here of different package managers: Homebrew, NPM, Rust packages, Python packages. So these are the routes where you could start to find these tools. And Taproom is, for example, a UI to explore the Homebrew packages. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is I actually made a CLI that's like Taproom except for 4 NPM packages. The package that I made is called the Forage CLI. So this is it here, and you can install it with npm install g forage CLI. Okay, we installed that, and now I can run forage. And this is going to allow us to look through NPM packages. So it's basically a CLI similar to the NPM website, where you can look through a lot of different NPM packages. So now we have this in the CLI, and you can go through different categories and look, and open into an individual, and then open it in NPM as well. So this is actually the first CLI I've ever made. I used React Inc. and Claude Code to make it. It's pretty cool. I was just doing research for this video, and I ran into the fact that there wasn't really a CLI for viewing NPM packages, so ended up vibe coding one. So that's how you can look at different NPM packages. There's also the same thing for Rust packages with crates-tui. So this is another resource to navigate through Rust packages. Another resource is called Ratatui. And this is, I believe it's a framework for building terminal user interfaces. And they have a pretty amazing community that's coming out with a lot of awesome TUIs. And that's, some of them were the ones that I found in the last video. For example, this one came from Ratatui. So I would definitely recommend checking this out. There's a pretty great list here of some awesome terminal tools. You can see just scrolling through here how much cool stuff there is. So that's a great resource, and I believe they have a GitHub page for popular ones as well. So that's the exploration piece of it, using Taproom, using crates-tui, and maybe different curators to find packages. Let's go into another tool. I want to show you another CLI that I made. I'm going to briefly show this because I'm going to make a whole video about it, but you might have seen in my last video that I'm building this PixelMuse project. And I went ahead and made a PixelMuse CLI. So this actually allows you to generate images in the CLI using the PixelMuse API. And I also made a terminal user interface where you can auth in and generate an image. And this is built on top of the PixelMuse platform that I've been building. So this is an extension of the platform that's now available in the CLI. And the cool thing about this is that you can just give it to Claude and say, hey, Claude, look at my repo, generate this image, generate a blog post based on this, or generate a blog thumbnail based on this blog post. And it will be able to read the whole blog post. Why don't we just go ahead and do that just to show an example? Hey Claude, use the PixelMuse MCP or CLI to generate a blog thumbnail for the Yazi File Explorer blog post on the Starmorph blog. Okay, so this is going to demonstrate that. I've been working on building out the PixelMuse CLI, so that's another cool tool I wanted to mention. The next tool that I want to mention is one that you guys recommended I mention as well, which is Bat. And Bat is a more rich version of Cat. So if I go ahead on my desktop to demonstrate this and create a new file, and then we edit this new file and type cat, we're going to see the context of that file. Okay, great. If we go ahead and we edit that again, and we make it markdown this time, and now we do cat again, we see that there's some syntax highlighting here, and that's because I have cat alias to bat, and bat shows more formatting, and it has more functionality or rich text features than cat. So that's a nice tool to add into your aliases or add into your workflow. Just gives a little more visual information than cat does. The next tool I want to mention is one that a lot of people are talking about right now for good reason, which is Tmux. Tmux is a tool to have persisting and multi-session terminal sessions going. A terminal multiplexer is how they say it. So this is really useful for Claude Code for multiple reasons, managing multiple sessions, continuing to run even if you close your computer and come back or something like that. So I'm not going to go in super detail into Tmux here because I'm going to make a whole video about that at some point. But you can set up a good amount of hotkeys to do things like, right now I'm in a session, and then you can go into a window. So this is a new window. And then I can go into multiple panes. And then I have hotkeys. So shift left takes me from window to window, and option takes me from pane to pane. So I have really nice control on being able to navigate. You can see how many terminal windows we have open right now. We have 3 ghosty panes, and then one of the ghosty panes has a Tmux session with 2 windows and 3 panes. So you can really get a nice hierarchy of organization going with Tmux. You can also do a lot more with Tmux, so I'll make a video about that at some point, but I thought that tool was worth mentioning. Okay, the next tool that I want to show you is called Mole, and Mole is a command line tool for deep cleaning and optimizing your Mac. So there's a few different functionalities we can use here. We can analyze how our disk is being used. This is a pretty cool interface right here. We can check the status of our system health, and it brings up this nice dashboard that shows us different details like the CPU, memory, disk, and battery, and some network settings. Similar to Mole, there's another tool called Jolt that is more specifically about the battery and hardware specific. So this is similar to some other tools that I showed in the last video for system process monitoring. Pretty nice UI on Jolt. And then the last tool that I want to show today, without making this video too long, is a quick little fun one called TTYper. And this is a quick typing test that you can do in the terminal. And I like doing this to warm up when I get to work or something like that. Sometimes just typing in the actual terminal and doing a little warm-up exercise just helps me get in the flow of doing dev in the terminal. So a fun little tool just to use as an exercise. Thank you guys so much for watching this video with 10 more CLI tools. I hope that this was a helpful part 2 of the video and you found some cool new stuff that you want to try out. Thank you all for your comments on the last video. I really appreciate your suggestions. If you are interested in seeing more of my Claude Code setup, I already have a few more video ideas I'm going to make. So make sure you subscribe to see the Claude Code skill video I'm going to make with more stuff like the MCPs. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.